They constantly tortured and bullied me, so I made sure they could never get their dream jobs. I was bullied mercilessly in school by a group of 3 girls for over a decade. They went out of their way to make my life miserable, and I even skipped school on a weekly basis out of fear of them. It's been 3 years since then, and I recently saw that 2 of them had earned degrees. The third isn't relevant here. Let's call the 2 of them Katie and Becky. I'm trying to move past what they did to me. I'm in therapy and on a few different medications for anxiety and depression. So, when I saw they had degrees, I tried to let it go. But the degrees they earned both angered and worried me. Katie got an animal care degree, and Becky got a degree to become a mental health nurse. At first, I thought it was some kind of joke, but I was wrong. I didn't know what I was doing at first, but once I started, I couldn't stop. I wrote a long post on Facebook about the abuse I endured at their hands, how they threw my phone in the sink at school, kicked at my ankles during sports, and mocked my weight, glasses, crooked teeth, and home life. They even created a fake prom category for most likely to end themselves, and I was the only nominee. Conveniently, it was removed before the tutors could see it. They would hide my sports clothes and replace them with ones that were too small, lock me in the gym cupboard until lunch, and follow me home, trying to shove me into the road. In class, they stabbed my arms with pens and pencils. These are just the incidents I mentioned in my post. There were many more. Some even worse. I tagged Katie and Becky in the post and mentioned their names repeatedly. I even pinned it to the top of my page. A lot of people told me I was being petty, and maybe I am, but I don't care. There was an argument in the comments between us and others on both sides, but it eventually died down. I refused to take the post down. Out of nowhere, Becky privately messaged me, apologizing for what she did to me. She blamed it on youth and immaturity, asking me to take the post down, claiming she had grown since then. Her apology almost made me consider it, but not even a day later, I learned her true intentions. In my country, potential employers often review social media for character references. Someone anonymously messaged me, asking to keep screenshots of my post and the comments for their records. I agreed. As long as the post is public, neither Katie nor Becky is likely to get a job in their respective fields, and I'm glad about that. To be clear, part of me wants them to experience the pain I endured and take some satisfaction in that. But their chosen career paths are the main reason I made the post. Becky, who traumatized me, should not be responsible for someone else's mental health. I fear for whoever she might care for. Similarly, Katie should not work with vulnerable animals when my pets have been my only solace through all of this. I'm not trying to make them jobless forever, just in these fields. The third girl, who became a hairdresser, is irrelevant to me, and I haven't mentioned her to anyone. A friend shared Katie's post on my feed, which is how I saw it and started down this rabbit hole. I know I still have a lot of work to do on myself. I'm not perfect, and I know I need to overcome the rage I feel. But I'm not there yet. People keep telling me to move on and forgive, but I'm not ready to. Forgiveness is always expected of the victim, while the perpetrators rarely face consequences. They may want to forget me, but the scars I have will never fade. Maybe one day, I'll forget them, but not anytime soon. I reached out to my old school and requested my files. After some time, the new administrators located them. I was worried the bullies wouldn't be named, but they were, especially in cases where their actions could have resulted in police charges if my mother had pursued it. I've also followed the advice of many supportive commenters and saved screenshots of Becky's messages admitting to what she did. Recently, another private facility contacted me asking for evidence. Becky's father also reached out. At first, I couldn't bring myself to read his message, but when I did, I felt a twinge of guilt. He said Becky was panicking after seeing my post and admitted he hadn't realized the extent of her actions. He apologized to me for not stopping her. He didn't ask me to take the post down or excuse her behavior. He seemed genuine, and I don't want him to be shamed for her actions. I've discussed all of this with my therapist, who offered cautious support. He advised me to use this experience as a tool for healing, not a crutch. For the first time in a long time, I feel a bit better. Speaking publicly has been a breakthrough. I've decided to keep the post up because I don't trust either of them in their chosen professions. I've made the post public so their names appear in Google searches, and I plan to send printed copies to local hospitals and shelters. If, in the future, I see genuine growth and remorse from them, I'd like to think I'd be willing to take the post down. But that depends on how far I've come in my own healing and how sincere they are. Right now, though, I'm doing what I can to prevent others from enduring the kind of pain I've lived through.